Hi everyone, my name is Araya, and today I'm going to be talking about food deserts within the United States. First, I'm going to kind of define the issue, characterize it a little bit, then kind of go over some solutions. So, what is a food desert? Though the term has been used in a variety of different contexts since its conception, it's generally going to be defined as a geographic area in which residents have limited access to affordable and nutritious food. Now, nutritious is really a key element to highlight here because an area may have a convenience store or gas station that kind of carries packaged or like processed food, but this store may lack fresh produce and other quality foods that a person needs to meet their nutritional requirements. And so a food desert is going to be an area that kind of lacks access to like a supermarket or other source of fresh produce. And understanding who is impacted by food deserts is going to be really critical to understanding the issue. So a majority of these food deserts are located within urban areas, with some rural areas impacted, but again, majority in urban areas. Then this is the key element to really highlight here is that food deserts are disproportionately located within lower income neighborhoods. And studies have even shown that lower income neighborhoods have nearly 30% less supermarkets than the highest income neighborhoods. And this is going to be compounded by the fact that people with lower economic means may not have the ability to travel further distances to supermarkets, and or they may work two jobs and may not have the time to make these long distances. Additionally, there is going to be a racial element to food deserts. So predominantly white areas do have a greater access to supermarkets, and this is in part because minorities are more likely to live in lower income neighborhoods, but it also just has to do with the systemic racism that went into like the historical establishment of neighborhoods. So overall, as of 2012, roughly 23 million people lived in food deserts, with a total of 6,529 communities impacted. And this map over on the right-hand side kind of is from the food desert, the USDA's food desert locator, and it shows areas that are food deserts in this neon green, and this is using data taken from 2019. So we can see this is a nationwide issue, and it impacts every state. So one reason you should care about food deserts, and other than the sheer number of people that are impacted by them, is because food deserts have the ability to reinforce cycles of poverty and just deeply impact the day-to-day lives of those living within them. So those living within food deserts are going to be more likely to experience food insecurity because they have lower access to foods, and then they also might in turn become reliant upon the packaged, canned, processed foods within convenience stores that are closer, or they may only be able to buy these types of things when they make these trips, just because they won't be able to go to the store as often. So these two things combined are going to lead to nutritional deficiencies. Additionally, the reliance upon these foods that are high in like salt, sodium, preservatives can lead to higher rates of obesity, heart disease, hypertension, and diabetes. And I really like this picture on the right, because I think it does a really great job of kind of demonstrating all of these different, how all of these things are interrelated and fit into the cycle. So obviously these higher rates of chronic disease are going to lead to medical costs and lower employability, which is going to lead to continued financial strain, which can then keep impeding people's access to food. And I also really like this image as well. I think it does a really good job of kind of tying in the cause and effect of the impacts of food deserts. So within these areas, we see few supermarkets and long travel times. This makes it difficult for people to either find the time to shop or can struggle to access these stores in general. In turn, they may rely on convenience and corner stores for food, which have a lower proportion of healthy foods, more unhealthy foods. And these are going to lead to food insecurity, poor nutrition, which can increase the likelihood of all these chronic diseases listed at the very end. And this just has implications for mental health of people living within these areas, and can just really impact their overall well-being. So briefly, I just kind of wanted to touch on why food deserts happen. I'm not going to go too far into this because I think it's kind of outside the scope of this presentation, but you could make a whole presentation on this alone, but I think it is important to touch on. So one of the main reasons we see these areas of lower access is because of historical suburbanization and white flight. So when wealthier white families were moving out of urban areas into the more spacious suburbs, a lot of the supermarkets followed them out of these urban areas, kind of chasing the more profitable market. And we see that 90% of conventional grocery stores located in low-income neighborhoods that either closed or went out of business did so to relocate in the suburbs, and this leads these urban areas without access, and those families who did not have the means to relocate into the suburbs are still there, and those supermarkets are not. There's also kind of a theory that supermarkets and chain stores may purposefully avoid the development of stores in lower income areas, and this topic is kind of dug further into in these two articles here. I think they're really interesting, a great read, and if you guys wanted to check them out, they are both available through the Miami Library. So now that we kind of understand the issue, I wanted to go into some solutions for food deserts. Now, I know we said that a lot of these food deserts are located within urban areas, and so urban agriculture is just a great way to get produce to areas that lack access to it. This is exactly as the name suggests, growing food in urban areas. And, rooftop gardening, vertical farming, community gardens are all kind of means to facilitate this, growing. And essentially, what can happen here is that through growing this fresh produce, it can be either harvested or donated. It can be harvested by people who need it or donated to these people. And it's kind of cutting out the necessity for a supermarket, and it also has a number of environmental benefits. So it's been something that's gaining popularity in a lot of U.S. cities. So very interesting. And there are a number of federal and state grants that support these initiatives. Additionally, farmers markets and mobile grocery stores are a really great way to address food deserts. Both of these, obviously the mobile grocer that can be moved around, but also farmers markets are able to be packed up and set up in areas that need fresh produce the most. So kind of the mobility of these allows them to kind of adjust locations based on consumer needs, and can really address the areas that need fresh produce the most, and just increase that access, go closer to these homes so they don't have to make the far travel times to supermarkets. So this actually, the top picture is a really cool initiative in Memphis, Tennessee called The Works, and this is essentially a huge truck full of fresh produce, dairy, meat, and it travels around to roughly 10 neighborhoods a day, and provides a lot of families with fresh foods that they otherwise would not have access to. And again, the USDA offers Community Food Project competitive grants to kind of support initiatives like this. So, there are solutions, and, this is something that is, being addressed. Then I just wanted to highlight some additional resources. This link, the first link here, is going to take you to the USDA Food Desert Locator, which you can mess around with it, see where the individual food deserts are located within the United States. That's where I took that image on the third slide. Additionally, this second link is going to go over food deserts specifically in Cincinnati, Ohio. I know a lot of us live close to that area. And, I'm from Cincinnati, so really interesting to me. And then this link is just going to offer some information about the USDA's Community Food Project competitive grants in case, any of you were inspired to try to take action and, help provide solutions. But thank you guys for watching, and I hope you were able to learn something.